Still Poddable. Playoff edition.
Other teams might as well buy their tickets to Cancun now because the Celtics are on the path to ban on 19.
Playoff edition.
With us on this journey are JT, Sam Packard, Brian, Rob, and Sean.
Playoff edition.
So I'm gonna need you all to buckle in because this pod's gonna be a wild ride.
Still Poddable. Still Poddable. The Boston Celtics still Poddable. Still Poddable.
I've never seen anyone lose their season 2 years in a row.
A psychosexual celebration of the Boston Celtics. Ooh, welcome back to Still Poddable, the best Celtics podcast here on Al Gore's Internet. I am Sam Jam Packard, joined by producer slash actor slash dancer live from the TD Garden, Sean Gauthier. This is the Poddable postgame show, the live version of Still Poddable, coming to you live after every single Celtics playoff game. And tonight we're coming to you after Game 5. The Celtics take down the Orlando Magic, finally 120-89 in what was a tale of two halves, much like the movie Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. Two wildly different situations going on here. What was one of the uglier first halves I've seen in a while. The Celtics had over 6 from 3, had turnovers galore. Just an ugly first half where they're going down the first half of 47-49. And Sean, I gotta say, I couldn't sense vibes being great, but you were in the building. What were vibes like in the TD Garden for that first half?
I mean, it was loud, but other than that, it was all bad. There was a lot of boos. I mean, the whistles was just ruining that first half. Like every time the crowd even got a little bit into the game, it would get whistle blown dead. I think the loudest they were in the first half was chanting "fuck you, ref" and Tony Brothers. That was the most excited everyone got here.
A tradition like any other. I mean, it was just a gross game. 6 turnovers for the Celtics in the first half, 10 points off those turnovers. They also gave up 10 offensive rebounds, and so they were just like losing on the margins on everything. And then, I mean, like we could talk about like small things in that. Like Tatum had the Celtics had like all this momentum. They get up by 2, and then they just give up an 8-0 run. It's like, oh, fuck. And then Tatum does the cool Tatum thing, and he scores 4 points, including a dunk at the buzzer. And it's like, all right, just clean up the turnovers, and we're going to like survive this slugfest. And it's going to be another one of those not fun games. At the half, Paolo Banchero had 2 fouls. That changed rather quickly in the third quarter. I didn't even register the first foul, I got to be honest. But then Derek White draws a charge on Paolo for his 4th foul with 11 minutes and 5 seconds left to go in the third. And I thought, wow, they better capitalize here because they're going to take Paolo out because they really can't risk him getting his 5th. And that did not happen. Tatum finally made a 3 after that, and then they go right back to Jaylen Brown, who did just a great job of claiming his airspace and drew that 5th foul on Paolo with 9 minutes and 46 seconds left in the third, and the game just kind of the whole dynamic of the changed right there.
Yeah, and I was texting with a friend of mine about the game, and like that 5th foul happened, and it felt like the entire crowd breathed like it's just a sigh of relief. It was like everyone here knew, like, okay, great, now it's gonna go back to normal, and yeah, the Celtics just steamrolled from that moment forward.
Is actually they didn't immediately start like taking advantage of the lack of Paolo, because so that happens with 9:46. The Magic challenge, because I just think Jamal Mosley. Yeah, actually, they showed the clip. Jamal Mosley had to like step in between Tony Brothers and Paolo because Paolo was going to get a tech. And I think Mosley came in and challenged just to create some space between those two guys. Obviously lost the challenge. So that's with 9 minutes, 46 seconds left. Fast forward another 3 minutes, 5:27. There still hasn't made much progress. It's still a 3-point game. it was just Franz Wagner just going at Kristaps Porzingis. No one is happier to see the Magic leave town and to see Franz Wagner leave town than Kristaps Porzingis. I don't get it. That all he's going to do is drive right and do his weird little hook shot. But for some reason, it's Peyton Pritchard can stop it, but Kristaps Porzingis cannot. And it just doesn't make any sense. And so Franz was still like doing his thing of like trying to like have this team like stay in the game. Still a relatively close game, but then the Magic did this thing where they were like, we don't have Paolo. We need to change what we're doing on defense. We can't like guard guys one-on-one. Like we just don't have the personnel out there. And then as they started doubling Tatum, and it's like, oh, that's not great. Start doubling Tatum. They get another wide open layup for Peyton Pritchard. Franz still dominating KP at this point. I just have to mention that because it's in my notes. But then there was this little fella named Goga Bitadze. I have been fucking
Something
up
like
his
that.
name. I'm just going to call him Goga. He had Goga in the game, and they just left Goga to try and defend Jason Tatum on multiple possessions and was like immediate foul, like with the Celtics already in the bonus. Tatum shoots a 3 over him, an immediate another foul from Goga. And you're like, oh, wow. Celtics are really kind of doing something here. Up by 10 points, 70-60 with 2:48 left in the third. And you think, surely Jamal Mosley is going to bring back in Paolo Banchero here because they have no chance. Jonathan Isaac during that stretch had a wide open 3 that he airballed. And they were getting lots of great looks because at that point you just have to slow down Franz and just nothing. Not like the ugliest of shots from all sorts of Orlando Magi. And there's just nothing they could do. And so I thought like maybe this is a game still with 3 minutes left in the third quarter, Celtics up 10. They did not bring Paolo back in, and just absolute pandemonium happened in that final 3 minutes. Hauser made a 3. Tatum made a 3. Hauser came back with a 2-point daddy. Al Horford made a 3 in the corner. All the first half, all the Celtics were trying to do was trying to hit Luke Cornett on the short roll, and they threw about 7 turnovers doing that. And they finally hit Luke Cornett on a short roll, and he kicked it off to Al Horford. And that's when I have to imagine the end of that third quarter, just like complete pandemonium in TD Garden. Celtics go from, pretty much, I think, up 1 when Paolo checks out to all of a sudden they're up by 21 at the end of the third. And so they just had this 11-point surge at the end of the third quarter. It was absolutely bananas.
Yeah, it felt like, honestly, when the Celtics were up 10, the audience was even louder in here. Like when they got to up 20, it kind of felt like everyone just sank back in their chairs. They're like, oh, this is what I came to see. This is what this whole series was supposed to be for me. It was like people were absolutely ready for this series to be over as much as we are.
It's just such a moment of relief. So they go on a 30-9 run in that third quarter, outscore the Magic 36-13 after going 0 for 6 in the first half from 3, which is just a ridiculously low number of attempts, let alone makes. They go 5 for 8 in the third quarter, get to the free throw line 11 times. Tatum had 13 points in that quarter, absolutely dominant. Jaylen Brown himself had 9. It was just, and the Magic just had no answers. Apparently Wendell Carter had a dunk, and Jonathan Isaac himself actually he had 3 points too. So it was just like an absolutely dominant performance. And then the fourth quarter was just kind of, they got their groove back. They started shooting more threes. Peyton Pritchard goes off. Sam Hauser hits some threes. People started having fun again.
Yeah. Truly. And then you got a little garbage time. Got to see JD Davison out there. It was a great time.
JD Davison's out there. You get lobs to Cornette. You get Peyton Pritchard. You get making multiple threes. You get Jason Tatum hitting a 3 over Wendell Carter when Wendell Carter completely fouls him. The only thing that made me a little upset is that they didn't eventually get Paolo or Franz to foul out of the game.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been a nice touch. Orlando Magic fouls, kiss my ass, you can taste my bowels, I believe as the famous poem goes. I developed a healthy dislike of whiny Magic fan on Twitter. I don't know if I necessarily respect the Orlando Magic. Is just I'm good riddance to them. I'm just glad the Celtics do not have to play them at all until next season. They get rest for the players. The Pistons able to pull out Game 5 tonight, so they're going to play at least a Game 6 in that series on Thursday. Assuming the Celtics probably won't play again until Saturday or Sunday, but we'll figure that out. But it's exactly what the Celtics needed here. Just finish these guys off. Actually, have a game where 3-pointers go in.
Yeah,
it's a nice thing, a change for the series. And like they had their best, I feel like, vibes-based 3-point shooting game. They still only got 24 up, which is like drastically low for a Celtics this year, averaging, I think, more than like 40 attempts per game this year. So maybe we'll see some real basketball. Maybe I'm just excited to play a defense that is not so, I guess, capable and is willing to put 2 on the ball, so the Celtics can do more, Celtics offense. But it was nice to see like they could immediately get their groove back.
yeah, and like especially just I feel like closing it out with having your groove is great too. Like just being able to feel ready going into whatever this next probably the Knicks, but whoever comes out into the next round, like I don't know, I feel like if it ended in a slog, the vibes are bad, but getting to end on a high vibes moment is great.
Yeah, I think it's just like, oh yeah, like we just a little bit of reminder of, hey, we can do this. Like this works out. We know how to do this. So I like just a fun little end of the series. Hopefully there's some people outside the TD Garden saying some irresponsible things into cameras, I think I saw a video tonight of Knicks fans chanting "We want Boston" after a loss at Madison Square Garden, which if there's any nonsense, and I don't know if it was just a clip from previous seasons or something like that, but if there's any delusional fan base that would do that after a loss, it would be the New York Knickerbockers.
Yeah, I heard like 3 guys trying to start a "We want New York" chant, which also just doesn't work. Too many syllables.
No, they're beneath us. We don't chant "We want anyone."
But also, it got pretty quickly drowned out by about 7 guys chanting "You got Boston." So that was nice. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, that sounds good. I'm trying to look at just the box score of this game. Kristaps Porzingis still frustrates me. 3 for 8, only 9 points. Still can't seem to get a bucket on the inside, but hopefully that will change. He's been very good against the Knicks this year. Just a solid performance from the bench tonight. Pritchard with 10, Hauser with 10, Cornette with 9, even Scory Torrey got in on the action. Baylor Shireman got in the action. That was all in garbage time, but they just need their bench to step up. And again, 36-13, I think, is the story there in that third quarter. And then Jason Tatum, 3 straight games with 35 points, the first Celtic to do that since Larry Bird. Heard of him? Good, 3-time MVP. Also remains perfect from the free throw line, 3rd game in a row with 10+ free throws. Where he
That's
makes
the really
all of
wild
them.
thing. That's huge.
And like I feel like so many times there's just been like, hey, you gotta make your free throws. Well, he's making all his free throws. So that's pretty cool. You can't complain. It makes for a super efficient game. And so credit to Jason Tatum for just a very solid last 3 games. Even in the loss, they could have done things, but just 3 straight 35 points, 3 straight 10+ free throws. Fantastic stuff. I'm ready. It's late. It's wildly too late. So I'm just going to get to the junk and we'll talk about the rest of the series more so in the rest of the week. So we got time to fill, baby. That's right, Times. That's right, Times. I just got so ahead of myself. I was going to say, that's right, folks. It's time for the Still Poddable still the game. And early nomination, we are going with Photoshop from Beer Jam. And this is key. It's a terrible Photoshop. Not a terrible. It's a really good Photoshop, but it's not of a good quality. It doesn't look like Jason Tatum is holding a broom or wearing a top hat. But it's a terrible Photoshop of that, signifying that 1, he's a gentleman, and 2, he's doing some sweeping. And so, and this is much better than whatever dumb AI memes that anyone else is going to produce. This is what posting is about. And so thanks to Beer Jam for posting the gentleman sweep. But that's not the Poddable still. The still Poddable still the game. The real one is a picture you took, Sean. Oh, gosh. Oh, here we go. It's a picture from live above the TD Garden featuring you looking at, I think, a previously done Photoshop of Tony brothers photoshopped into the Tony brothers with dueling bags of Doritos, both nacho cheese and Cool Ranch. And I just thought it was a legendary Tony brothers performance tonight. He's always going to show up for you when you need him. I just like the the image here. You have the foreground, the background. Clearly, it's an important time. It's the playoffs. The Garden is packed. In the foreground, you get Tony brothers, and really what brings everything together is the dueling red and blue Doritos bags. Just tell me about the composition and what you were thinking when you took this photo.
Yeah, honestly, genuinely, I actually put a lot of thought into this photo.
I could tell.
Yeah, I had to get everything in there. Actually, I'm gonna take a step away from this photo just because when I went downstairs to grab chips at halftime, they had nacho cheese, like Doritos nacho cheese flavored Smart Food popcorn, and
Like
that
dust?
sounds really good.
Is
They
it in a
ran out
bag
of-
or is like popcorn and they dusted it on with their own nacho cheese flavored dust?
Yeah.
Why does the TD Garden have a dust in supply?
No. This is like buy Smart Food. Like you can buy this in a store.
A collab.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can get behind
But
that.
Abby and Suichi took the last bag, so I didn't get to try it.
We'll have to have them on to discuss that because that's not fair.
Listen, they
but
were in front of me in line.
did you say anything to them, or do you just stew in silence and now airing out their dirty laundry now?
Actually, what I did was I said, "Yeah, that one looks really cool." And
A passive aggressive take. Well done.
Yeah.
All right, I just got to get into my own personal nonsense. I started watching this game on YouTube TV's broadcast of NBA TV because I've just assumed that my NBA League Pass would be blacked out. And they didn't show me the game for the first. I didn't start watching the Celtics game until there was already 8 minutes left to go in the first quarter because NBA TV was watching the end of Bucks Pacers. So part of me was furious because they're like, you can watch this start of the Celtics game on HLN. How am I supposed to find HLN on YouTube.tv? Like, that's just not a channel I can find. So there's part of me is furious, and then part of me is like, oh, the Bucks are up by 7 with 39 seconds left to go, and I'm somehow watching them have a complete meltdown, and they lost that game.
Oh, did
Gary
they?
Trent Jr. after having a phenomenal game, just like he's stepping in for Dame, he scores 30 points, he's making all sorts of threes. The ball goes through his legs when all he needed to do was catch it and get fouled. And then Halliburton comes down on the other end and scores the game-winning bucket. And then Halliburton's dad walks out onto the court, has a towel with Halliburton's face on it, and just starts taunting Giannis's face. And Giannis just thinks it's a random fan, and he has to be held back by Pat Connaughton. So I'm seeing all of this, and it's like, this is amazing, but also what I would really like to be watching the Celtics game right now. And it was just like 5 minutes of utter complete chaos, and that's what makes the NBA playoffs fantastic.
That's brilliant.
NBA TV also announced they're terrible. Sounds like Professor Frink from The Simpsons, but less cool. You had some comments on Michelob Ultra Zero, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I'm up here on the roof, and I'm looking down at the court, and for the first time ever, I actually look at the sponsors on the sides of the court, and it says Michelob Ultra Zero, and I just feel like, first of all, I had never heard of any other varietal of Michelob. I didn't realize there were non-ultras. I did do some research on that.
There's
But-
some Michelob heavies. You can just get a Michelob.
Yeah, I learned that that's a thing. There's also Michelob Light, which is different than Ultra. Don't know why this episode's sponsored by Michelob, but
Oh, well, we're not giving an endorsement. We're just mentioning the product.
all I'm saying is Michelob Ultra Zero feels stupid. You
No,
shouldn't
but
be
you don't
both
understand.
Ultra and Zero.
It's more zero. It's like it could be Michelob Zero. And I see what you're saying that Michelob Ultra is already known for having like 50 calories. So how could you do zero? Does Michelob Ultra Zero have 0 calories? Is it a 0
No,
calorie
it's
beer?
it's a non-alcoholic beer.
Oh, it's a nah.
But why isn't it
calling
just
it zeros.
Michelob Zero?
No, because it still needs to be ultra, so you know that it's low calorie. I mean, what if it was a Michelob Light Zero? Wait, there's a Michelob Ultra. I'm gonna reveal my okay. So the Michelob Ultra has never been what I would say as a cool guy drink, and I'm not saying you have to consume alcohol. I'm just saying if you combine a Michelob Ultra with a non-alcoholic drink, just drink a seltzer. Just have a water. Because like I feel like the NA portion is like, oh, I want that beer taste. No one is drinking Michelob Ultra for the taste, and no one is drinking it for a cool guy vibe. So it's like you can't even pretend like if you're drinking Michelob Ultra, you're trying to get drunk. And so I agree with you. I retract my statement. Ultra Zero makes no sense. Utter woke nonsense. There's a commercial with Jason Bateman and Batman on State Farm, and it's the most half-assed idea I've ever seen, and I just want it on my television, and I know I'm going to see it 35 times a night for the rest of the NBA playoffs. Jason Tatum tonight was just furious with the referees. Like, I think he hates Tony Brothers more than everything. It's just like at every point, there was some place he just didn't even bother getting back on defense. He was just fucking pissed at the refs the entire time. Still put up a brilliant performance, still was Jason Tatum, but was just angry. I think he's just frustrated for this entire series, especially because he probably still has a lot of pain in his wrist, but it was just noticeable his utter disdain for Tony Brothers tonight. I hope someone's asking him about Tony Brothers, or at least off the record. I just want Jay or B-Rob to be like, what do you think about Tony Brothers? his actual reaction.
Yeah, it was like every time he would score, you would see him turn to whoever the nearest ref was and just scream at him for a second and then jog back. It was like every single time.
All right, so it was, the end of the game, chat was popping off. Chat tonight, I was looking on my computer and then I went to my phone and I was like, scroll down for 700 new messages from chat. And I was like, damn. And so chat is a fantastic place, especially when the Celtics are winning. Let me tell you, when the Celtics had the major avalanche, chat was a fun place to be. So if you want to join chat, if you're watching out there on YouTube or Twitter, or for our 4 or 5 Instagram live followers right now, you can become part of chat for the playoff run. Go to patreon.com/stillpoddable. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of memes. It's a lot of tomfoolery. It's a lot of nonsense. It's oodles of ballyhoo. And so I would recommend that you subscribe today, especially for the playoff run. You're going to be part of chat. You're also going to get, content from every single day, Monday through Friday. We'll hear tomorrow from B-Rob and Jay King what their feelings was about the game. We'll try to get some more national guests in here to talk about the rest of the playoffs. And so highly recommend you joining today, patreon.com/stillpoddable. I bring chat up because someone made the dumb joke, more like Orlando Tragic. And I was like, I can't just do basic level rhyming scheme. So I did have to Google what rhymes with magic. And because I had nothing off the top of the dome. I think that's a tough. Quick, Sean, what rhymes with magic? You don't have anything.
Plastic, sort of.
That's like an Eminem style fake rhyme. So the first thing I came up with was pelagic, which means pertaining to the deep sea. So my first line was more like Orlando Pelagic because these guys are drowning out there. Dumb line, correct? Boom. Chat immediately goes, we had a fish biologist in chat. And he's like, yeah, that's not what you want to say at all. That's not a good word. I was like, fish biologist. What the fuck are you talking about? And he hit me with it like he's just like, no, we got way better words than that. One that didn't rhyme with Orlando Magic. And Grant's trying to say traffic. I guess traffic could possibly rhyme. Dramatic. These are all not direct rhymes, but we had some other suggestions. And I think my favorite one was Orlando neuralgic because watching them causes severe pain attached to damaged or irritated nerves. And then, everyone's making jokes at the end of the game, but my favorite one was Kano, I think our greatest Hawaiian subscriber. And I don't mean to besmirch any other Hawaiian subscribers. I just don't know of them specifically. But he wrote Orlando, more like Orlamo. And that just had me dying. Like, fucking got him, dude.
That's good.
That was so good. Orlamo.
Did you see Kristaps head the ball?
No.
So this was like I'm trying to look at my note. It was in the second quarter. He gets that early and one, like early on in the quarter. He gets the and one. The ball goes up, it comes through the hoop, and rather than catch it or move out of the way, he just heads it to the referee. Incredible behavior from him.
Yeah,
just
why not?
Insane.
Speaking of insane, Cole Anthony took 2 shots tonight that were easily 35 feet. And it was like in the middle of like offense. It was just like, sure, man. Cole Anthony, you can do whatever the hell you want. And this was like in the second quarter when it was still a game. And it was just like, what are you doing out there, Cole Anthony? Like that, it made no sense to me. But kudos to you, Cole Anthony. You made a lot of noise and you didn't do much. Anything else? Any other observations? Empty out the notebook from you, Sean, live at TD Garden.
Going back to chat, gotta shout out James Beard for Midtown Jaylen Brown after he hit a mid-range shot. I thought that was great. Packer, I think you have to pitch that one to Drew Carter since downtown Jaylen Brown wasn't working. Yeah.
Shout out to Drew Carter and Scal. His last game that they were going to hear from them in the season. We'll try to get both of them on the pod now that they have free time. But I imagine like Drew Carter's now going to be broadcasting like lacrosse on the ESPN network, or just doing like, it's 4 p.m. Sports Center, and you're going to see Drew Carter there because that's just the life of a broadcast professional. But hopefully he'll have enough free time. We'll get him on the pod so I can pitch him more names. But kudos to them for a fun season, and kudos his descent into becoming a giant Celtics homer. It's fantastic stuff. That's all I got, Sean.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. I think that's all I had too.
Fantastic. Celtics beat the Magic 4-1. Gentlemen's sweep. They win 120-89. They get a couple days off before they have to take on either the New York Knicks or the Detroit Pistons. But that does not mean we will stop podcasting, because we got 2 more podcasts for you the rest of the week. We're going to hear from Jay King and B-Rob tomorrow about their thoughts on the Orlando Magic series. Hopefully get some guests to hear about the rest of the goings-on in the NBA. Lakers and I meant to say Clippers, but then I said Lakers, and then I couldn't remember who the Lakers are. But they're losing 3-1 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll get all sorts of reactions from the NBA. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate everyone who subscribes. Highly recommend you guys join us more for the playoff run. Sean, for staying. Why the hell did this game start at 8:50? It's absolute poppycock, and Adam Silver should be fired. It's for the birds.
Still Poddable, still Poddable. The Boston Celtics still Poddable, still Poddable.
Oh, yeah.
Go down from eating and drinking and all that wild stuff.